This is the Andu Kedei Show.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of the show, of the podcast, another hybrid episode, in the sense that today we are going to talk about tennis and basketball. So first of all, let's start things with tennis, because something's happened. I've missed some time, and yeah, we know 3 for our semi-finalists for the ATP Nitro Finals. So we had some great matches, man. The Team Nadal match was probably top 5 matches of the year. Team said that it was his best game since the restart. And remember that he won a Grand Slam since the restart, coming back in the US Open final from 2 sets down. And he said that this one was his best game since the restart. So yeah, it was formidable. 2 hours. Team won in tiebreak. Both sets. Yeah, it was 7-6, 7-6 the first tiebreak. He won 9-7, the second one 7-4. Each player had 1 break in the second set. In the first set, Nadal, I think, had 1 or 2 set points. Yeah, he had 2 set points. He was leading 6-4. But as it happened in Australia, where I know Team won in 4 sets. I don't remember exactly the score, but it was very tight, like this one. Yeah, look, it was 7-6, 7-6, 4-6, 7-6. So basically 3 out of 4 sets were won by Team in tiebreak, and Nadal won the third set 6-4. So I'm beginning to enjoy so much this rivalry, because Team, out of the big 3, I think, and I know that he played Nadal the most. So I think I can call this a rivalry. This was the first year they didn't meet on clay, and probably it would have happened if there were more than 1 clay court events. So in this group, we know by now, the group London 2020, we know the Team and Nadal qualified in the semifinals, both with 2 wins and 1 loss. Team lost to Rublev, and that was there is such thing in the NBA, some people call a schedule loss. Like when you're on the second day of a back-to-back, you're on the road, you don't really, not that you don't care about that match, but your level is not at 100%, and this is what happened with Team. He was already qualified no matter what. Rublev was already out no matter what. Rublev, yeah, you can see that he played his best game here. He defeated Team in 2 sets. But there was, you can see that Team was not there mentally 100%. And yeah, Rublev, of course, he didn't want it to leave this event with 0 wins. So he defeated Team. Team qualifies as the group leader. And then, same yesterday, we had Nadal and Tsitsipas, which was, it was kind of like a tough match to call before, to preview, because Nadal was in, I don't want to say necessarily great shape, but he was in good shape. He defeated Rublev pretty easily. Then it was that hard battle against Team, and now I think he was the favorite, but Tsitsipas kind of always bring his A game against Nadal. He beat him before, so I really didn't know what to expect. And yeah, this match has been a little bit surprising, because in the first set, even though it ended 6-4 for Nadal, and it was pretty close, Nadal somehow was the better player. He had a higher level, he was more focused, and just like in Team versus Nadal, the reason Team won is because he won the most important points. That, I don't know, he won the most important points. When Nadal had 2 set points, yeah, Team won those. And when Team had a set point, he won the set. He played better in those clutch situations. Same for Nadal here. So Nadal served good. And Tsitsipas didn't serve that good in the first set. Tsitsipas had more unreturned forehands and backhands than Nadal, which I don't think can happen, because in order for Tsitsipas to kind of push Nadal to defeat Nadal, he will need to be the better server, or at least kind of have the same numbers, and this wasn't the case. And Nadal was winning pretty easily his serve games, while Tsitsipas kind of struggled. And Tsitsipas and Thiem, I want to make a comparison. Thiem hits harder, and his ball is much flatter on that one-hand backhand. So this is why I think Thiem caused more difficulties to Nadal with that shot than Tsitsipas, because you can see that happening. Tsitsipas was not hitting the long line backhand, always in cross court, and Nadal was literally camping in that forehand spot, not even bothering to move to the middle of the court in case Tsitsipas might switch, and he would have to hit the ball with his backhand. Then in the second set, kind of the same story. Nadal won easily his matches, his points. Talking about players under pressure, it was, I don't remember exactly the score, but Tsitsipas double faulted. No, I think Nadal, yeah. So let me go to see the stats here, because I don't want to be mistaken. Whatever, it was, I think, 3-3, something like that. And Tsitsipas double faulted. Or was it in the first set? Yes, I'm so sorry, it was in the first set. It was 4-4. Tsitsipas was serving. Nadal had break point and he double faulted. Then at 6-4, at 5-4 for Nadal, Tsitsipas won a lucky shot by the net. It was 30-all. And Nadal hit 2 second service aces in a row to end the set. 2. Nadal. Also, if you look at the statistics, this game, Nadal had 8 aces, and same for Tsitsipas. This almost never happens. Nadal almost never out aces someone. His serve is so good because it's not really that speedy, but it has a great court placement. And yeah, people return it or try to return it or at least hit the ball, but he's not the player that aces that much. Almost never. And yeah, then at the end of the second set, things got weird. After Nadal was serving so good, he suddenly double faulted and served really bad. And he faced a break point and he double faulted. And Tsitsipas won the second set. They was like, what? So yeah, that was interesting. So Tsitsipas won. So after 6-4, 5-4, in the second set, Tsitsipas won 6 return points. In the next 2 games, he won 8. So tennis was odd last night for that part. Then again, in the third set, there were 3 breaks in a row. 3 breaks in a row, no one could serve. And yeah, it was 2-1, Nadal served, and yeah, he suddenly things began to be normal because, as I said, Nadal served great. Tsitsipas suddenly had a stretch where it looked like he can channel his best form. But then again, he was like distracted and he was not there. He was too aggressive. Nothing worked for him. And Nadal won easily the third set 6-2. After that weird 10 minutes, Nadal finally was the better player. Yeah, it was weird because Tsitsipas woke up like from nowhere at 5-4 in the second set. He found some great returns suddenly, and it was suddenly one set all. Then there was like 10, 5, 15 minutes in which both players kind of were not there mentally. And yeah, Nadal dialed back in and Tsitsipas collapsed. So this is another. Tsitsipas needs to serve better in order to cause Nadal problems, or at least to make this matchup close. Because yeah, there were 3 sets, but the sets that Nadal won were highly on his favor, and you can argue that the second set Nadal was the better player, and for some minute there he disappeared. And yeah, Nadal qualified for the semifinals where he will face Medvedev. I had no idea that Nadal hasn't played semifinals here since 2015. And this will be the first time he faces someone in the semifinals who is not called Federer, Murray, or Djokovic. He will face Medvedev, who is in great shape. And I don't think Nadal can beat him. So today we have the last day of the group stage. And we also have a potential final matchup because Medvedev and Schwartzman are playing. Same situation like in the other group. Medvedev is already qualified, Schwartzman is already out. And there will be the final against between Djokovic and Zverev. Who wins qualifies. I don't think Zverev has any chance, but we will see. Because Djokovic kind of struggled against Medvedev. He tried to shorten the points like he did with Nadal at Roland Garros, and it didn't work. Medvedev was defending at an elite level, and Djokovic looked gassed. But also, Medvedev looked like the one who ran the entire court 5 times on 1 point. Same like with at Roland Garros final this year. I don't know, Djokovic footwork at some point was kind of weird, I don't know. But Medvedev was doing everything right, I mean. And the points from the baseline, a stat where Djokovic destroys everyone. At some point, Medvedev had 32, Djokovic 18. So almost half as much. This is incredible. This is incredible. I don't think people understand this. This never happens. Not that almost never happens. This never happens. So Nadal will play against Medvedev and Djokovic against him. If I would have to give my guess, given their current form, I don't think Nadal can beat Medvedev. And I don't know if Djokovic can beat him. Because in the same time, I will not be surprised if Djokovic and Nadal won, because they are Djokovic and Nadal. And remember that last year, at this event, Medvedev had a 5-1 in the third set against Nadal, 5-1, and he lost. Great comeback. And Thiem played against Djokovic last year in the semifinals, I think, as well. Or Thiem was the one who sent Djokovic home in the group stage. I can't remember exactly. But I think, given their form and how well they played in the group stage, I don't think Schwartzman can pull off a miracle and win against Medvedev, even though Medvedev might not be motivated. I don't think Medvedev needs to be at his 100% to defeat an already lost mentally Schwartzman. So there is that. Yeah, I'm excited. But I think if somehow Nadal can beat Medvedev, I don't know who will rather Nadal want to play in the final between Thiem and Djokovic. I really don't know, because Thiem beat him in the group stage. Yeah, it was a close match, but in the end, Team was a better player. And I don't think he stands a chance. I think he would prefer Team. I think he will never say that, but it will be easier to play Team. I don't know. We'll have to see, and I'm excited. Can you imagine if somehow Zverev beats Djokovic today? Wouldn't that be as crazy as possible? So yeah, this is what I wanted to talk about tennis. I'm excited. I really want to see I think I root for Medvedev. Even though Nadal is my favorite player of all time, I don't see how he can defeat any of those three. And I really root for Medvedev because he struggled earlier this season with his form. He finally won a trophy at Masters 1000. You know that Medvedev and Zverev both have 3 Masters trophy and Team only has 1? Doesn't that seem crazy? That's probably because Team, as he's older than those guys, played much more with the big 3 when they were younger, and probably this is a reason. And let's remember that this year at Paris you have no Federer, no Djokovic, and Nadal on his worst preferred surface ever. So you also need a tiny portion of luck when you win this kind of events. Doesn't matter who you are. So I think these are all the news, and this is what I wanted to talk about tennis. Let's move into basketball because things also happened there. Yeah, we had a draft. I don't know really what to talk about the draft because I really don't know these players that well. Yeah, I expected Golden State to take Wiseman. I expected Minnesota to take Edwards. Other than that, yeah, I heard of the name players and I've watched some highlights, but until I see them play with their franchise, I can't comment on that. So in other news, a thing that I find very odd. So Bogdanovic is not with the Bucks. They announced that they signed and traded him. But you can't do that. Free agency starts today or tomorrow. So he needs to be a free agent in order to sign him. And now the NBA investigates that. So that deal is off. Like there is no way Milwaukee can still get Bogdanovic because that will be a problem. I mean, yeah, they did a great thing for Giannis by adding Drew. A lot of picks, if you ask me. Kind of worth if Giannis signs the Supermax. And I would have imagined that they would have talked about it. I mean, I don't think the Bucks organization would be that dumb to do that without knowing that Giannis will sign the Supermax. And bringing Bogdanovic was also a great pickup, but I don't know if it would have been enough. Not to win the championship, but only to come out of the East. You have a squad in Brooklyn. Who knows if James Harden will join that? Philly is getting better. So, I don't know. Drew Holiday is a great pickup. I think Bogdanovic would also be a great pickup. But is it going to happen? I don't know whose fault is it. Because the news was leaked and it wasn't supposed to happen, probably. So I don't know what Bogdanovic part of the story is. Does he want to be there? Or he wants more money? The numbers of his contract were not we don't know that? That's weird. Other news, Gordon Hayward declines his $34 million player option. So there is no way in hell he doesn't have a longer term deal that was already done. Not officially, but at least verbally, I don't know, because there's no way you are turning down $34 million. Yeah, it is a year. And the new contract they will probably sign, I don't think it will be with Boston. Will probably be longer period of time, and more than $34 million. I don't know. 3 years, $50 million, $60 million. So there is no way in hell that a team gives Gordon Hayward $30 million a year for multiple years. I don't know which team will get him. You hear reports about the Knicks, about Indiana. I won't be surprised if the Knicks sign him for a max contract, given how dumb the Knicks franchise was for 2 decades. We have another terrible news, man. All the people that hated the Warriors and cursed them now, this is terrible. So Klay Thompson tore his Achilles, man, in his right foot. The pickup game. So after he tore his ACL in 2019 Game 6 in the NBA Finals and missed the entire season, everyone was so excited. Yeah, the Warriors are back. They have the number 2 pick. They brought Andrew Wiggins. Let's see what happens with him. Do they trade him and that pick for a superstar? What move will they make? Curry went down with an injury. He's going to be back. The Splash Brothers are going to be back. Draymond is probably going to be better with them off the court. And now Klay Thompson will miss for another season. So in case you don't know, Klay Thompson once scored 26 points in a quarter in a season. In a quarter! Not a game, not a half, in a quarter! 26 points! But you know what? Same seasons, he dropped 37 points in a quarter. Are you freaking kidding me? He dropped 60 points with 11 dribbles. So, yeah, Steph Curry is the greatest shooter in the history of the NBA, but Klay Thompson is tougher in my opinion. Tougher in my opinion because his ability to get... There is no other player that can get hotter quicker than Thompson. This guy doesn't have to dribble. He can shoot it free hands on his face, from the wing, from the corner, top of the key, from the logo, from the hash, 3 feet behind the 3-point line. Everywhere on the court, this guy can shoot bomb. Nothing but net. And now he'll have to miss another season. After you came... So the ACL is a catastrophic injury. Yeah, it's easier to come back from that. But you still may not be the same player. And now an Achilles on the other foot? Oh my God, this is a nightmare. I'm so sorry, I pray for him, I root for him. But this is a nightmare. They might make the playoffs. They probably will. But this is no way in hell they are contending for a championship without Klay Thompson. And yeah, they did a great thing. They brought in Kelly Oubre through trade. And they only have to give up a first round pick because they absorbed his salary on that $17 million trade exception. So now Oklahoma City has 17 first round picks through 2026. Oh my God. It looks like a video game. So now all the pressure is on their shoulders. Like, yeah, we did all those trades. We have a gazillion of picks. Let's make sure we draft right. And let's make sure we keep the players. I will bring this up every time. I don't care if you have 17 first round picks. They drafted Westbrook, Harden, Durant. They all left. They didn't want to sign those 3 guys because they were going to be in the luxury tax. So I don't care how many picks you have. Make sure you draft right and build a positive culture and a good culture. Harden got traded, wanted to leave. Durant signed in the offseason with the Warriors, that's fair. And Westbrook also demanded a trade, so having 17 first round picks doesn't guarantee we'll win a championship in the future, so do something, Oklahoma. Coming back to the Warriors. So now their starting five will probably be Steph, Wiggins, Kelly Oubre, Draymond, and Wiseman. We will see how good Wiseman is, but another thing. Curry and Clay were the greatest shooting backcourt in the history of the NBA. And Wiggins and Oubre are an average 3-point shooters. Draymond Green was terrible last season. Wiseman, yeah, he can shoot, but you don't want him to do that. So not only that your second best player goes down, and he might never be the same after two back-to-back catastrophic injuries, but you really don't have a lot of shooting. We will see how things turned out because, yeah, they played with great centers before, but the most dangerous Warriors team was the death lineup when they played with Draymond at the 5 and they played 5 out and everyone was moving and scattering behind the 3-point line. This was their best. This was Warriors' peak, if you ask me. So I think the strategy will need to change, given the fact that they drafted Wiseman and Clay is out. But man, these are such terrible news. Klay Thompson is one of my favorite players to watch, man. Because of how fast he can get hot. So in other news, Daryl Morey is making moves, man. But I don't know how this guy keeps doing that, but it's amazing. So the Sixers traded Al Horford, a first round and a second round pick, to the Thunder for Danny Green. Yeah, this was another Thunder trade where they got a first round pick in the 2025. So they got rid of Horford, huge contract. Last season Horford disappointed, he was not the player he was in Boston. And they pick up Danny Green, a capable 3-and-D guy. Yeah, he struggled last season, but I still have hope. That he can help. He can play 20 minutes on a championship roster. And Terrence Ferguson, who is a great pick because he's young, he's athletic, he's a good defender, and he's a good bench role player. So that's great for Philly. And they made another move. They traded Josh Richardson. Who was it exactly? I don't know. Whatever. The deal involved that Josh Richardson was going to Dallas and Seth Curry is going to Philly, which they added a damn good shooter because he's a Curry. So this means he can shoot 40% from the 3-point line. And I also think this is great for Dallas because Josh Richardson is a hell of a good player. They brought a better shooter than Josh Richardson and a capable playmaker. So I think these moves are great. At the same time, the Nets made a move. I don't know exactly the details on that, but they traded Shamet to Brooklyn and they got Luke Kennard from the Detroit Pistons. I don't know because Shamet is also a good 3-point shooter like Kennard. Yeah, you could argue that at this point in their career, Luke Kennard is the better shooter, but he's one of the worst defenders in the league. I think this is a great move for Brooklyn, man. Adding Shamet, he can be a trade piece in the James Harden potential deal that we all wait to see if it would happen or not. If James Harden will still be in Houston by the end of the trade deadline. But boy, this Klay Thompson news, I still can't get over it. I was shocked when I read the news on my phone. Kelly Oubre, I think, is a great pickup for the Warriors. The bad thing is they are now 82 million over their tax. So they will pay 82 million in tax, which is just kind of expensive, considering that I don't really see them at a championship team right now. Yeah, they're more than capable to even be the third seed at the end of the regular season, but I don't know. But I like when things are willing to go into that luxury tax. Yeah, it's a bad year. There will probably be no fans, or if they are, the arena is not gonna be at the full capacity, and it's so bad because they also have a new arena. But yeah, bad news for the NBA fans, man. Not only Warriors fans, bad news for NBA fans because it's devastating. He's a hell of a guy, great player. We all love him, but to have two catastrophic, devastating injuries, consecutive years, season-ending injuries. Wish him nothing but the best. Wish him health. And guys, so today is the last day of the group stage into ATP Finals. I say that once again, the match that you need to follow is the Djokovic-Zverev one. And yeah, tomorrow we'll get the semifinals. And the day after tomorrow, the final. So I'm excited. Will we see a new champion team or Medvedev? I don't know. I think it's very likely. And yeah, today or tomorrow. I don't know exactly. I don't want to be wrong. So I will say today or tomorrow. The free agency starts. So we will see what happens exactly with Bogdanovic. We will see what happens with Montrezl Harrell. We will see what happens with other free agents. Avery Bradley declined his player option. Will he come back to the Lakers? I thought that he was such a big piece of their plan, of their NBA Finals hope, and he didn't come in the bubble. I don't blame him for that, obviously, but they won without him. Will Rondo go to the Clippers? Can you imagine if Rondo won a chip with the Celtics? Then he went to the Lakers, won one there, and now he's going to the rivals. This would be cruel if it will happen. So I'm excited for that. Thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget to like this on YouTube and subscribe. Follow me on Spotify. Be healthy. Stay safe. Peace.